What's going on, guys? It's Chief here from CHG, and I just wanted to share a few things that I think about when I'm playing PUBG. I wouldn't call this like a tutorial video or anything like that. These are just things that I think about that I think are kind of helpful, that sort of have helped me get better at the game a lot quicker. I don't think it's a game that you could really actually show someone exactly what to do to get a win every time, because every situation is so versatile, every situation is so different. That's sort of what makes it so addicting. Anyway, let's get started. Alright, first thing I want to talk about is picking your fights. Picking your fights is a really important aspect of the game. To know when to attack, to know if it's the right time to pull the trigger. Because pulling the trigger in PUBG is a huge risk. You know, you pull the trigger, you essentially notify anyone in your surrounding area to your location. And having the drop on people in this game is very, very important. So picking your fights is crucial. Now, most of the time when you're picking your fights, your gear is going to be a huge indicator as to whether or not it's worth taking. You know, if you want to shoot someone who's running across a field but you're quite far away, but you've only got a red dot and an M4, it's probably not the right time to take that fight. But, you know, say you've got a 4 times on it, that might be a better opportunity to take the fight. But then you have to think about the surrounding area. How close am I to other buildings and potentially other players? Now, the circle has a lot to do with whether to take fights as well. You know, am I running from the blue line? Am I in the clear and safe in the zone? Am I in the circle? Am I comfortable? Do I have plenty of cover? All of these things are so important to keep thinking about. So many times I have been caught up fighting someone, and I'll be fighting a team of people or whatever, and I won't even notice that the blue line's coming in, and it usually results in my death. So a huge tip from that perspective is always keep an eye on that little blue market. Keep an eye on that timer. That's going to tell you exactly when you need to be moving, especially if you're far away from the zone. Warm up. Warming up is so important. I always warm up. Play a couple, 1, 2, maybe even 3 games where you go real aggressive. You know, you drop mill base and you go for picks. You drop crates and you go for picks. You get all of the jitters and all of the preamble, get it all done, and you can just focus on staying calm in those fights. But warm up is crucial. It's good to get out there, get comfortable with the guns, get comfortable with the attachments, you know, fast at looting, just to get your eye in, get comfortable in the game, and it gets you comfortable fighting. That's the important bit, because when you start playing the serious game that you're going to play in a couple of games time, you want to be comfortable, you want to be happy to go and fight people, you want to be happy picking fights. That's really, really important. Now, this is a tip I've heard other people talk about. They haven't spoken about it to much detail or at much length, but this is something I often need to remind myself of, but it's something that does help in the moment. You know, just remind myself to stay calm. Try not to panic, try not to freak out. Just take my time, try and figure out where the enemy is, and try and be one step ahead of your opponent. And a lot of the time that's easier said than done. Can't blame someone there. But just trying to stay calm. Take the time to line up your shots. Don't let you being killed sort of get you down. Just try and learn from each experience, and that's how you get better, definitely. Staying calm is it's the difference. It's the difference between life or death in this game. Staying calm and taking time to take your shots. Now, a word that I've been using a little bit recently when I've been talking to people about how I play PUBG is tempo or pace. This is definitely very situational, but it's important to keep in mind, you know, how much am I pushing? How much am I moving? How much am I killing? How much am I staying in buildings? You know, and trying to find a balance between all of these things. So, you know, you're pushing effectively, you're retreating effectively, using cover effectively. But it's sort of about how quickly you're getting sort of tasks done. So a good way to keep your tempo up, a good way to keep your pace up is by setting yourself miniature goals. You know, I want to get to this building, I need these attachments, I need, you know, that's what I'm looking for. So all of these aspects are really important when it comes to things like tempo and pace. You need to keep that in mind. So the blue line definitely keeps keeps you moving forward and keeps the pace up. But there are definitely players that really take a back foot and just ease their way in. And that can sometimes be a fantastic strat, but it can sometimes be at the detriment. And I mean, at the end of the day, everything in PUBG is extremely situational. So you take what you can get, you know? Another thing I want to talk about is top 10s. Be happy with top 10s. Top 10s are good. Top 10s are really, 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 really good. I think you should be happy with top 10s. You know, you've done a lot of looting. You might have gotten a couple of picks by then if you haven't just been sitting in a building like a coward. You know, you've gotten some good gear, and you know you're ready to get into some real good fights. And in the top 10, this is what I believe anyway, it's where the game really sort of kicks off. Everyone's geared. It's usually a tight circle. There might be some buildings involved, but becomes a very, very, very tense game. And that's where staying calm comes into effect the most. When you're in that top 10 situation, staying calm is really, really, really important. And I'm sort of harking back to a previous note, but keep that in mind. But be happy with the top 10s. If you get taken out in top 10, that's fine. That should be an achievement. I mean, it kind of helps me sort of take losses a little better as well, saying that. But I think it's you know a good milestone. You know, you've made it to the top 10 out of 100 people. I think that's something that you should definitely be writing home about. All right, guys, they were my sort of food for thought for PUBG, and I hope it was helpful. And I hope they're things that you've been considering, and maybe share a few things that you've been thinking about when you're playing PUBG in the comments section below, and we can have a chat about it there. I'm really interested to see what other people's sort of little hints or little tips and tricks that they have to sort of, you know, make themselves a more effective operator in PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. And remember, guys, if you're liking the content, a like, share, and a subscribe means the absolute world to us. So if you could please hit those buttons, that would be fantastic. This is Chief, signing off.